Incumbent Democratic Senator Chris Murphy will win his third full term in office as he defeats Matthew Corey, a bar owner slash teamster who's run for statewide office now 5 times, the 5th time, not the Trump for him. Murphy wins re-election in Connecticut. Meantime, a projection to bring you from Rhode Island. There, incumbent Democratic Senator Sheldon
This is real.
seeking his 4th term in office. He's projected to defeat Patricia Morgan, a Democratic
again,
a Republican member.
Like I was saying before, I didn't want to focus too much on politics. That's never my goal. Because I want to talk to everyone on equal forms. But again, this is an historic moment. We don't know what's going to happen. We could potentially have the first female president of the United States history. Now, again, like I said before, regardless of whatever aisle you lean towards, whatever your political affiliation is, whatever your issues with the particular candidates is, I'm putting that aside because I'm looking at history. Again, like I was saying before, I'm an educator, so I'm looking at the historical aspect of it. The ramifications of what could happen. Once this passes, then we can, of course, break down the nuances of, the candidates', policies and so on and so forth, and promises and lack thereof, from either party. But focusing on this aspect now, I'm just looking at from the historical aspect point of view, and that's it. Staying neutral. Again, whatever does happen, I understand that this is our democracy, and I'm all for it. Regardless if my candidate loses, regardless if my candidate wins, I think that no matter what, this has been a historic candidacy that we've, one of the most historical candidacies I've ever seen in my life. From the attempted assassination attempts on the former president to the current president stepping down to the VP stepping up, the first female. Like, it was a lot that went on with this. Then, piggybacking off of the, off of COVID. It's just like, I've never seen anything like this. There's a lot going on when it comes to this election, when it comes to, our country as a whole. But one thing I would advise everyone to do, whoever wins, whoever your candidate is to pause, right? Reflect on your neighbors, reflect on your co-workers, reflect on your loved ones who have different political beliefs or views than you do. And remind yourself of your relationships. Remind yourself of the love that you guys have for one another. And now remind yourself that these candidates, at the end of the day, both parties will be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be good. Living their lives. Financially good. Families will be good. Everything with them will be fine. We have to focus on us. Stop letting this stuff divide us. Stop letting your political view get so clouded by a particular candidate that you refuse to have a conversation with the person that you care about that was there before these candidates were in office, and they'll be there after these candidates leave. Remember that. These candidates will not be here forever. Your family members will. Your loved ones will. Your co-workers, if you're living, working with them for a long time, they'll be there. Your neighbors that you're living next to, they'll be there for a long time with you as well. Remember these things. Keep these things in perspective, because we have to live with one another. You and I, not the politicians. Remember that. Some of us are so married to these political parties or to these politicians that we forget about us. That I forget that you are my neighbor, that you are my brother, that you are my cousin, that you are my family member, that you are my co-worker. That's more important. Put that stuff to the side. We can have our differences. You can believe in that. But we are the people that must stick together, because if we don't stick together, you saw what happened before. When we let this thing divide us and make us go, we need to realize that. Talk to each other about your differences. You can disagree on that. I can agree on this. This is what makes us people, human beings. I don't have to agree with you, and I don't have to respect your opinion. I can respect the fact that you do have an opinion, and respect the right that you have the freedom of, choice, or, the right to speak your mind in America. That's America. You have a right to speak your mind. freedom of speech. But I personally don't have to respect your decision or your perspective in what you're making. I think that's what we have to get clear, right? I'm all about freedom of speech. And I respect your right to have your freedom of speech, but I don't have to respect your particular viewpoint. I understand you have a viewpoint. Talk it, say it. Yeah, you have a right, but that don't mean I agree with that. That don't mean I like it. That don't mean I have to respect that, your opinion. I don't have to respect your opinion. I respect your right to have your opinion, but I don't have to respect your opinion if it's BS or something that disagrees with my morals and my values, and that's just the real deal. But nonetheless, we can all disagree on certain things. But at the end of the day, how can we come back together? How can we say, okay, we may disagree on this and that, but these are our common interests. This is where our commonalities lie. This is where we can talk about certain things, where we can converse about this. We can agree to that. We can disagree about that and still come back and be so cordial with one another. Think about that. So before we go crazy, regardless of the end results of any candidate, win or loss, you still got to live next to your neighbor, right? Still got to go to work. Still have to talk to your family member. Remember that. Just my thoughts. Have a good night.